Okay, folks, welcome to a Woman Crush Wednesday with the Sex and Suicide podcast. I'm here with Rita Perepelitsky.
Close enough.
Close enough. All right, that's a tough one. That might be the toughest so far.
Rita P.
Rita P. I'm here with Rita P. And you might recognize this is Jen Slay we have again. She was in one of our previous podcasts. You can always go back and check her out if you want. But tonight, Jen is going to be my co-host.
Yes, I am.
And the cool thing about Jen and Rita is not only are you friends, but you're business partners.
We are.
And we'll get into that. But first and foremost, this is Woman Crush Wednesday. It's all about female empowerment. And Rita, you are in the spotlight this evening. So Rita says that there's a little bit of a story behind the business that you two started. Mm-hmm. Does that have to do with your personal life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speak loudly when you want to.
Yes.
You are.
Sorry.
That's okay. You are going to vocalize.
I'm usually really good at speaking loud. I'm usually the one that's told to tone it down. But of course now.
It's because it's so quiet in here, right? But don't worry, it's just us here. Feel free to try to match my voice if you can.
Okay. I will try and match your voice.
So yes, thank you very much. So Rita has told me, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to disappoint you. It's going to be a very exciting broadcast this evening, but sex is off limits for this evening. And she probably didn't even want me to say that, but we're going to get that over the way. So let's start with Rita's story. Rita came with notes, and I really want to hear what she's got written in front of us tonight.
Yeah.
So let's tell me about yourself. Tell me about you.
Well, I think in order to make the story relevant, why don't we start with PinkInk and what PinkInk stands for?
Sure.
Because I think for the audience to really understand who we are and where we came from, it's nice for them to know what we stand for today.
Sure.
It will help to put everything into context later.
Yeah, it's your story, shape it how you want.
Thank you. Thank
so
you.
The company is called PinkInk.
PinkInk.
So tell me about PinkInk and how you guys started this company.
Mm-hmm. So PinkInk is an image and lifestyle type of coaching and consulting company.
Okay.
And Jen and I met, oh my goodness, I want to say probably 10 years ago.
More than that, because our kids were little.
Oh gosh, see now we're,
Okay.
So over 10 years
Memory
ago.
lane. Yeah,
Memory lane. And we actually met at church.
Yeah.
That's where we met, and we
what kind of church? Like, are you guys
it was a Christian
church?
Christian church.
Okay.
Yeah, we're both of the same faith, and quite faithful actually. Before we even left our car today, we held hands and said a prayer.
Oh, good for you.
So
That's cool.
Anytime we have any type of big event or something that we are very
to start our business meetings.
Everything, we really sort of thank God for everything He's given us.
Wow.
And allows us to, really provide that inspiration to people.
So you both very strongly, I know you do for sure, but you both have a more of a gratitude mindset. And
Absolutely.
You're thankful for what you have rather than what you're lacking.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, I like that
very
approach.
much.
Regardless of what religion you're
Yes.
from, that's always a good way to live.
Yes. Yeah.
So, okay.
So then we met over 10 years ago, and at that point, Jen was involved with Mary Kay. She was in the Mary Kay industry and was doing quite well for herself, and we connected that way. And then somehow in there, I joined with Mary Kay, and I believe I was in her line, up her line. She was my director at one point.
So network marketing didn't ruin a relationship for once.
No.
Awesome.
That
That's
actually brought us together.
good, because you hear some horror stories, and actually, in all fairness, I've been in network marketing.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It depends on the product and how passionate you are about the product. So.
And how good the product is, right?
Absolutely.
So we met there, and we did that for a couple of years. Jen was a lot more successful at it than I was. I perhaps wasn't taking it as seriously as Jen was.
Right.
But what I really admired about Jen was her passion for wanting to succeed. I mean, there was no doubt this woman wanted to succeed.
Yeah.
And so there was another woman at that time by the name of Serena that was also part of the Mary Kay, and she was doing quite well for herself. So fast forward maybe a year or so, and I was off with my third child.
Okay.
Off on mat leave and sort of quiet with the whole Mary Kay situation. And Jen and Serena started a business together doing bridal makeup, because what they found, and we found this later too, is that we enjoyed putting makeup on women and the feeling that they got when they looked in the mirror, rather than selling the lipstick. It wasn't about the lipstick, it was the feeling that we gave them.
Right, when they were all done up.
When they were all done up.
Right.
I mean, that was
Glint in the eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really quite empowering for us. We really enjoyed that part. So the two of them started doing bridal makeup and prom, and I don't know, go ahead, at some point.
Well, it was at the beginning.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that, what we did is we just said, it would be good if there were three of us, because then, their third person can break the tie vote, when we're making decisions about business.
I see.
So-
That's a good idea. I don't know.
I'm the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Tiebreaker,
Okay.
right? So we said, okay, well, let's think about who we would want. And right away, Serena was like, well, what about Rita? And I was like, yeah, she'd be great. She'd be great. And so we approached Rita, and Rita was like, yeah, I'd love to. So we started as a makeup service company.
Yes.
Okay. So what was the name of that before?
It was called PinkInk.
Okay. So
Yeah.
PinkInk, how long has PinkInk been around now then?
5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it's really evolved. It's really morphed into what it is today.
Right.
Like Jen said, it really started off as a makeup company, us supplying makeup on women.
Right.
That's what it really
Which
started
is why I
with.
haven't heard of it then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Or maybe I
that-
have secretly.
Yeah, exactly. So it started off as that, and then I would say probably within a year after we had started, we realized that once we started applying the makeup onto women, and because of Jen's background, because of my background, women just started opening up to us. There was all of a sudden this whole self-esteem, this empowerment conversation. We'd have really deep conversations as we're putting lipstick on.
Cool.
And we just sat there, and Serena was with us at the time, and we just said, there's something more to this. There's something more. We should perhaps look at, image and branding, like branding a woman, and not just about the lipstick, but the whole persona.
Right. Right.
And so we went with it. We went with that, and unfortunately for us, Serena was having her third child.
Under the age of 4.
Yeah, so she
Wow.
had 3 little
Wow.
ones, really right after each other.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was wonderful to work with. She really was. She was
Right.
another woman that was just as driven as us, loved the beauty industry as much as
Sure.
we did, and it was really a pleasure working with her. And but she had to step back, and we respected that. As much as we tried to beg her to stay in various ways, we really tried.
Yeah.
It wasn't for her family. You know, it would make her family life a lot difficult. We didn't want to get between that, so she stepped down.
Yeah.
And then Jen and I needed to decide what we were going to do with it. So from there, we sort of moved it forward to become more of that image. It became more of an image company at that point. And we started providing workshops for women. We developed workshops. We have this Diva by Design program. We did a workshop up in Collingwood.
Face of PinkInk.
Oh, Face of PinkInk. Yeah, that was a big one too. So we wanted to give women an opportunity to have a day of pampering. So for a nominal fee, I think it was only $25, they would get their hair, their makeup, an outfit put together, jewelry, and a professional photo shoot.
Oh,
And
very
we made
cool.
it a day.
Very
And
cool.
one thing that we've really made ourselves really proud of is the fact that we've been able to collaborate with people. We have, in our various, personas, have had different companies that we've worked with, and we find very credible.
Yeah.
So we were able to collaborate and work well with them, and we were able to bring that together. So we partnered with a hairdresser, we did the makeup, we partnered with somebody who was able to provide the clothing, the jewelry, the photography.
Right.
So they all
Right.
had a piece to play.
Sure.
And then at the end, each woman received this beautiful image of them.
Right.
And we even ran a contest, actually. Because the idea behind it is that one person was supposed to be the face of PinkInk for all marketing promotions,
Okay.
our website, and
Smart.
any
I
type
like
of
that.
marketing, right?
Yep.
But it ended up 3.
Yes, because we couldn't decide,
We
right?
decided different age brackets
Yes.
because it wasn't fair for a 17-year-old to be competing with a 55-year-old.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
We're
different,
beautiful in different ways.
Right,
Exactly,
yeah. So is it all based on like exterior appearance, or did you kind of base it on the person behind the photo?
It was all encompassing. It was holistic.
Yeah.
And
So
even
there was a question.
Yes, there was a question they had to fill out. And even actually, I want to say the second or third year, we actually had a panel of judges. Do you remember?
Yes.
So we had finalists, and we had a panel of judges of, sort of local celebrities from the community. Denise
Cool.
Pellier was one of them.
Yeah, Denise Pelly was one.
Yeah.
And then I had a contact in England who was a professional model.
Yes.
Okay.
So
yes.
she was one, and then a photographer here in London.
That's right.
Very
so,
cool.
It started as that. That was sort of our big gig to get PinkInk out there, and that's
Yeah.
really where the name became
And
something.
did that work?
It did.
Yeah. Good.
It certainly did, and to the point where people would actually ask us the following year,
Yeah.
"Are you going to run the contest again? Are you going to run it again?" It was a lot of work.
Hey, I bet.
It was a lot of work to run
Yeah.
it, but so we kind of went away from that, and
Fair
then what did we do, Jen? We've done a whole bunch of different things.
Events. One of the things that we're really proud of is when we started PinkInk, we said we know we have to give back to the community.
Yeah. Yeah. You
so-
always do that, which I love about you. Is
Yeah.
It's always something
Yes.
to give back in a way,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So we ensured that we had some sort of fundraiser every year to give back to the community. The first year, I believe it was anti-bullying.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Youth on Fire.
Youth on
Huge,
Fire.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a concert. And so we had a concert in Sidet. I don't know if you've met with Sidet yet.
No.
You have to get Sidet on your
Yeah,
show.
Okay, all right.
Yes, quite good.
Okay.
So we had a concert. It was at Wolf Performance Hall. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the year after it was Swim, Single Women in Motherhood.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
so every year it's something we partner and we do something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been one thing after another, and then just recently we've started doing more of sort of an image and lifestyle. We've also, again, been collaborating with Street Boutique Canada. They have a fashion truck here in London, London's first fashion truck.
Yeah.
So we partnered with Anne-Marie, and we did Get Glammed. So it was kind of like the same idea of a face of PinkInk, the same idea
Right.
that it was going to be one winner. And even then we couldn't decide of one, so we picked two winners. And they got a complete overhaul, and we had it videoed, and it went viral, and it was really well received, actually.
Cool.
So
Very
that
cool.
was exciting. So we're always doing
I like that.
something.
Outside the box, right?
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
awesome.
We're always
I
doing
love that.
something. So, you know, our motto is really to try to connect with women and, you know, show them that it's not just about the exterior, right?
Right,
I mean, it's very
right.
easy. We teach women in our workshops that you're going to get judged within 7 seconds. It's just going to happen.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
what do you want people to say about you?
Right.
So a lot of times we'll use, you know, words or catchphrases like show up with purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
give them something to talk about,
Right.
And of course, professionally, I'm also in HR.
Okay.
So a lot of times in our workshops, I'll talk about, you know, in an interview, you know, how many ladies go to an interview and dress up,
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Why do you dress up? So the importance of it, the importance
Right.
of how dressing up gives you that confidence that you don't even realize.
Right,
You know,
right.
on a subconscious or even conscious level, you're confident without even realizing. it,
Sure,
Right? You stand
yeah.
up a little taller, and it's based on what you're wearing. It's
Yeah.
based on the fact that you're taking care of yourself.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole sort of message behind that.
Right.
And so to answer your question about the story,
Yeah,
the
well,
personal story,
Yeah.
I know that in the summer last year we were presenting to a group of women, and they asked us, you know, why do we like doing what we're doing?
You're clearly very passionate about it.
We
both
are,
of you.
absolutely, and
Yeah. So there's something to
there's
this.
something that drives us,
Yeah.
right? And you know, we're about confidence and self-esteem and empowering, and the reality is that's not where I came from.
Okay.
You know, if I sort of was to rewind, we came to Canada, we immigrated from Lebanon when I was 3.
Okay.
We left a war-stricken country, we escaped and came to Canada here. So my first 3 years were full of bombs and that's sort of, you know, and they say the first 5 years of your life shape you.
Yep.
Right? So I'm coming to Canada with this, you know, baggage.
Without realizing.
Without even knowing,
Yeah,
right? And even
sure.
if I look back in my kindergarten school picture, I was this timid little soul. Like I'm looking, most kids are smiling and I just have this look on my face. And I'm like, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
So it started from that. And then, you know, we came to Canada, we had nothing. There was no money. My parents did not speak the language. And so we lived in poverty for years.
Right.
Because there was no English, there was no money, you know,
Right.
so and my dad was very resourceful. I mean, it wasn't for lack of trying, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard when you don't have anything. There's no foundation to start with, right?
Did you leave because of all the violence that's
Absolutely,
happening?
absolutely.
And how did you pick London, or did you end up somewhere else to
No,
start?
we started in Canada.
Yeah.
In London.
In London?
We started there. My dad moved us here. We did have my uncles, there was a couple of them here, so they
Okay.
helped a little
Right.
bit to bring us over. But even coming here was an ordeal. Quite
Right.
honestly, my
Yeah.
dad arrived first. My mother we ended up on a plane with Olympians. We landed in Russia. My mother got sick, severely sick for 3 days in Russia.
Wow.
So my brother was one way, I was another. Like it was just the whole experience
Right,
was
yeah.
it was quite exhausting from when my mom tells me. the
Absolutely,
story, right?
yeah.
So we come here, we live in poverty for a number of years, but then, you know, my parents and my dad decide, you know, we need to move to Calgary because it was booming.
Okay.
But before that, when I was about 5, we were in this massive car accident involving a drunk driver. So we were waiting at a train, there was a train going, and we were the first car. Right behind it, and a lady, a drunk driver, hit us from behind.
Wow.
And I mean, those were the days there was no car seat, so I'm, you know, 5 in the
Yeah.
back seat, in the middle of the back seat, no car seat. I propel forward into to the windshield.
No way.
My brother is 9 months, or he's younger, he's 3 years younger, so he's about 2 years old, and he's in my mom's lap in the front seat. So it was horrific. We were all over the news. I was hospitalized for weeks for trauma.
At 5 years old?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Right? Because because the train was going.
Of course.
Right? Like the train was eating our car essentially.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was quite an ordeal, and you know, luckily we escaped. Considering, you know, the story, we escaped harm-free. You know, my father had broken his shoulder and whatnot, and my mother was covered in glass. My brother was fine, thankfully, but I suffered a bit of that trauma.
Wow.
So I think...
Well, you're pretty sensitive at that age. And just to clarify everything, so you were sitting waiting for the train, a drunk woman came, plowed you into the train, and the train was kind of...
still going.
Wow.
So it was literally...
That noise must have just been like...
right? It's steel on steel, and the train wasn't stopping. Like, it was going, and like we had to get out of the car, right? Otherwise it was going to eat. It was just a lot to handle at that time, right? And I only remember so much, right? I'm 5. I don't remember everything, but... So that was
some traumatic experience for sure.
It is,
and you're picking up more than you realize at that age, right? Like you're just a sponge,
right? And then at that point, my father moved us to Calgary because Calgary was booming and was great. Money then finally started to become a little bit more handy for us. You know, we were able to live a life, bought a house, and that. So that was really nice. But the one thing that sort of, you know, stuck with me is, and I don't know if it was, to be honest with you, I don't know if it was the war back home, I don't know if it was the train accident, but I wet my bed until I was 16 years old.
Wow. That's, so you couldn't do the sleepover thing?
There was no sleepovers, there was...
Was that hard? That must have been difficult.
Well, everything, right? You know, if you can think back to being, well, you can't think back to being a 16-year-old girl, but, you know, when I think back to that, right, I thought, honestly, I had no future. I couldn't get married. I couldn't have kids. Who's gonna want to sleep beside a bedwetter?
Right.
Really, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, why I tell the audience this is, you know, it's ingrained in me deep-rooted insecurities.
Yeah.
Like, that even raise their head once in a while today.
Wow.
You know, I've overcome it, and obviously I don't wet my bed anymore, but it leaves this sense of insecurity in you that doesn't leave you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But you know, Rita is one of the strongest women I know.
Yeah.
But I often will say to the ladies in the audience, if you ever are in a dark alley, you want Rita with you.
Right.
Because she's not going to back down. She's that ride or die chick.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
So
Yeah. Well, I can sense that about you for sure. And that's got to be a rough experience. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm trying to put myself in that position.
It's tough, right?
So, because you can't, like, that's out of your control. I mean, that's something, how do you fix it when you're sleeping?
You can't, and I didn't understand it. I'm like, how? Like, and my poor parents, they would, honestly, I don't even know how they got sleep, because they would set alarm to wake me up every half hour. They tried everything. They sent me to, you know, regular doctors. They sent me to holistic doctors. They tried everything, thinking something could fix it, but it just couldn't. You know, I don't know, my body just wasn't reacting to anything. And then there was this shame.
Right.
You know, I couldn't tell anybody this. Are you kidding me? Right? And on the outside, I looked normal. I was your typical 16-year-old girl, got good grades, you know, but I had this deep, dark secret that I couldn't tell anyone. And no, you can't sleep over at my house. And no, I can't sleep over at your house. And, you know,
so how did you overcome it?
I outgrew it. It was just a matter of outgrowing it. And even then, you know, I stopped at 16, but every so often, even, you know, in the next coming years after that, every so often, let's say I would have a bad dream or something, I'd wake up and go, you know, I didn't even realize it. Like, I don't even, and that's what I think was, how do you not realize it? Like, you're wet. How do you, it was just, I couldn't fathom it. I didn't understand it, so it was hard for me even to explain, but that deep-rooted insecurity, I think, propelled us, at least me, to share our journey and our experiences and why we're so passionate about working with women and making sure they have that self-esteem and that confidence. Like, that's why, because I've been there, you know, and there's more to share too, but it's very easy to look at somebody from the outside and go, oh, she's got it made, she's got it put together, she has nothing to worry about. It's like, you don't know.
Sure. No, absolutely. And I can relate to that in a way that is a little different.
Okay.
But as a 16-year-old boy, sometimes instead of wetting the bed, there's the other thing that can happen, which is the wet dreams that can happen, right? So let's just say, I don't know if I was just a horny kid or what the deal was, but every night before I went to bed, I had to make sure I had boxers on. I could not sleep naked, just put it that way. Because it was a regular thing for me to wake up in the middle of the night having to change my boxer shorts. So I know it's not the same thing as wetting the bed, but it was just, I had fear of sleeping over, and it's you don't want to have a puddle in your shorts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's the same thing. I don't know if I'm just having all these horny dreams or what, but it happened. It was something that I had to deal with, so I kind of know how that feels in a little bit of a different way.
Sure.
But I wanted to, when you said I won't be able to empathize with being a 16-year-old girl, I can empathize with the 16-year-old boy that might be having, whether it's a bedwetting or he's experiencing the other. Just so you know, I did grow out of it, so there is hope. Went into about my early 30s. No, I'm just kidding, but you'll be fine. So let's go back to break things up a little bit. Let's go back to, you said there's a little bit more to the story. So after you've overcome the bedwetting, what's the next thing that kind of
the other part of my childhood was, of course, my family was first generation in Canada, so very old school, very strict.
Right.
So I wasn't allowed. I mean, on top of obviously wetting the bed and not being able to sleep at friends' houses. I wasn't allowed to go to people's houses, period. So going to the mall with my friends, going to the movies wasn't an option for me.
Right.
My parents were very, very old school. There was no such thing as boyfriend, like that. No.
Yeah.
So very strict, which was hard.
Right.
It was very hard.
Right.
And,
did you want a boyfriend?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other girl, I wanted to experience life.
Yeah.
I wanted to experience life. And, here's the thing, they did the best they could with what they knew. And I understand that. But growing up in a really strict environment, it was tough.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to experience the things that other people my age would have. Which
in this culture,
which includes having a relationship with someone that might break your heart, learning healthy boundaries, learning the way somebody should treat you, shouldn't treat you. I didn't learn any of that, you know. So then what happens is just before I turn 18, I meet a boy. Okay. He was 4 years older than me at the time. Yeah. So I'm, turning 18.
He's 22?
He's 22. Okay. And he's handsome as hell. And, and I have braces on, and he's interested in me. And I'm like, what? Really?
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me afterwards that,
There have been men men interested in you before, though.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
This was just one that caught your attention,
This one definitely caught my attention.
Okay.
He definitely caught my attention. And I used to work at the mall at the time.
Maisonville?
In White Oaks.
White Oaks, okay.
So I started there when I was 16, and I worked in the mall, and it was a popular store to work at. So,
What store?
Stitches.
Oh, I remember Stitches. I used to get the baggy jeans there. I used to be a skateboarder guy that wore my jeans there. Yeah. So I'd probably hit on you.
Stop.
Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah. So
I told you what kind of a teenager I was.
That's true. Yeah. This is true.
Yeah, the subject of a dream.
Yeah, that's true. I knew there was. I knew you looked familiar.
Oh, stop. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So moving on. I start dating this guy, but I do it secretly without my parents knowing.
Right.
And I have to tell him that I can't go anywhere with you. I can't date you in public. Are you okay with seeing me at the mall? And he was good about it. He was really good about it. And I fell. He was my first, and I fell for him. I really fell hard for him. And
first love or first everything?
He was my first everything.
First everything?
Everything, yeah. And so fast forward a couple of years later, fast forward 1 year later, and I tell my mom about him. And, she's really weird about the whole idea. He actually doesn't have his grade 12, I find out. He had some issues to deal with as well. So anyways, long story short, I get married at 22.
Wow.
Okay, so I get
To this guy?
to this fellow. I get
So he
married.
was 26?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's the thing, now I can look back and really look at it. Going into the marriage, I was broken. When I think about everything that all the baggage I had brought to the marriage, I had this thought of what marriage should be.
Right.
He was to be my happily ever after. He
Right.
was, love conquers all. That was the vision that I had, and
Yeah.
you married for life. That was it. And he himself as well had gone through some things in his childhood that were traumatic to him. And again, it's easy to reflect now, but we come together sort of as two broken people,
Yeah.
leaning too much on each other.
Right.
You know,
Do you think that happens a lot? Because
I think so.
I feel like I see that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it definitely
Especially at a young
happens.
age.
Yeah.
But,
So
try
I
and find someone to complete them.
complete them and
Yeah.
and I sort of broke the mold a little bit because I'm, again, very traditional. I'm Lebanese and, I'm supposed to marry my own kind and he wasn't.
Right.
So it really broke the mold in the family,
Yeah.
perhaps we were saying some stuff because I was the first to kind of marry outside and stuff, especially being a girl. It was just not the right thing to do.
Right.
So I sort of broke the tradition that way, but my parents were really supportive. And
Really?
Yeah, at the time they were.
Good.
They were, once it became official and I was going to marry. And
was marriage the big thing there? Like as soon as it became about marriage, then it started becoming more accepting?
when I was engaged.
When you were engaged?
Yeah, as soon as that engagement ring gets on, it's almost like you have a free ticket. You
Really?
can go out, you can do that to a certain degree, right? You can't stay out all night,
Sure.
but you can go out, you can be seen in public.
You don't have to meet at the mall.
Yes,
Okay.
I can be seen in public, I can hold his hand.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, we get married and the good times are good and the bad times are bad. That's probably the best way to say it. It was a very rocky relationship.
Was it abusive?
You could say that. Yeah, it was abusive. It's kind of hard to talk about, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was abusive. We both hurt each other in different ways.
Right.
I know it's one of those, I think you said it to me once, hurt people hurt others.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so,
and you lash out.
Yes,
you see things.
I was hurt, so I hurt him, and vice versa. He was a hurt soul, and he was hurting me.
Yeah.
Whether, again, it's done intentionally, not intentionally, it happened. You
Right.
know? And, I realize, I can take ownership that I made mistakes as well. But there was some abuse there.
Right.
A couple of times there was even some physical abuse.
Really?
And that's where the marriage really started going up and down. Like I said, my thought is it takes two to make a marriage work, and it takes two to break it.
Right.
Right. And I am by no means suggesting that I was an innocent party.
Of course not.
I hurt him
Right.
as much as he hurt me.
Sure.
But at the same time, I don't feel like a woman should be physically abused for any reason.
Right.
And that's where the line was crossed.
Right.
It was crossed one too many times. And I left several times and came back several times. And I think that's where I played with his mind too much.
Yeah.
I think that I really did a number with him.
Yeah.
But I did it with the whole intention of putting my family back together. It wasn't to screw with his head. It was really
your traditions and
your God and family values,
right? Exactly.
And people around you, and you can fix this, Rita. You can do it if you really want to. And,
right.
Okay, I can do this. And it would get worse.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And it would just get worse and worse and worse, right? To the point where at one point I actually lived in a women's shelter for about a month.
Really?
Yeah. It was just,
Wow.
and at one point during all this, and even afterwards, I was diagnosed with PTSD.
Yeah.
And needed to sort of individual counseling and even group counseling through the hospital. So, again, which is why it sort of propels us to do what we do. Because I think superficially people can look at the outside and go, well, look at her. She's got it made.
Right.
She's successful. She's and it's like, you haven't lived in my shoes.
Absolutely.
You have no idea what it's taken to get here,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't wish it upon anyone.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been a long journey. I am happy to say that I'm remarried.
Yeah, I saw the ring, so I was going to say. Good for you, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, happily married 5 years now.
Oh,
and
wow.
we have a son together, Nico.
Yeah.
Hi, Nico, if you're watching.
Hi, Nico.
Hey,
buddy.
So, and it's interesting, my husband now is younger than me,
Yeah.
quite a bit younger than me.
Okay.
He's of a different religion altogether. He's
Yeah.
Jewish, I'm
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
How
does that work?
It works.
Cool.
You know, it works. And I'll tell you, he's so open in the sense of, I was just telling Jen in the car, I needed someone to pray with yesterday. There's something going on and I needed prayer. And I'm thinking, who am I going to pray with? Who am I going to pray with? And I looked at him last night and I said, I know this is probably outside your comfort zone.
Right.
Because he's not a religious person at all.
Yeah.
I said, but I need you to pray with me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can do that. And I'm like, okay. So then just before bed, you know, all three of us, Nico, Mike, and I held hands and I said the prayer. And at the end, they were looked at me and they're like, Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so cute, you know. But
That is cute.
Right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
you know, respect and empathy. I mean,
Yeah.
he just gets me. I can wind myself up fairly easily, and he just has this calming. He just knows how to.
Do you get some anxiety then?
I do.
You do.
Absolutely.
Do you think that's because of the PTSD, or do you think that's a separate thing that's just kind of developed?
I think I likely had it before.
Yeah.
I think it's probably progressed because of the PTSD, but I think there was always a bit of it. I know I will catch myself if
Yeah.
I'm in a meeting or something. I will catch myself biting the side of my cheek.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was for the longest time until somebody said, "Oh, that's anxiety."
Yeah,
That's
sure.
anxiety. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so or you know, touching something or
Yeah.
you know, it's a comforting. I'm trying to soothe myself
Yeah.
on a subconscious level
Exactly.
without even realizing
Yeah,
it.
exactly, for sure. And we all typically have
Something.
yeah, that we aren't aware of or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
now that I've had this beard, sometimes I'll catch myself like that, right? I'm like, okay, I know what that is, but anyway.
Yeah.
How do you find dealing with the PTSD and the anxiety? Do you do it naturally, or do you take medication, or?
I took no medication ever. I'm not a believer of medication unless I
Yeah,
absolutely have to. So with anxiety or the PTSD, no, I didn't take anything.
Yeah.
My father actually said something to me once when I was going through one of my rough patches. He said to me, he used to say it to me often, and I didn't see it at the time, but he would say to me, you know, you don't realize how strong you are.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I just look at him. He said, you know, you've gone through everything. You don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't gamble, you've done nothing. You know, you're not taking any medication. You're just handling it.
Yeah.
You're just dealing. And I'm just looking at him like. But he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I very, very much could have turned to something addictive.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I could have, and I didn't. You know, I didn't turn to alcohol.
You've also built up your support system too.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, counseling was not beneath me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I did have my fair share of counseling one-on-one, and like I said,
Yeah.
with the group. And the group session actually was quite intense. It wasn't open to the general public. It was something that you had to be interviewed for, you had to apply for. It was quite a rigorous process to even be accepted.
So this is, explain to me what the group system is that you're talking about.
So what it is other people who have gone through other traumatic experiences.
All kind of get together.
All get together.
Is this a support group in a way?
It was at the hospital, yeah,
Right.
yeah. And so it was a support group, and it just helps you be aware of it. It helps you recognize triggers, because what would happen to me, I didn't even realize I had it until it finally hit me, right? I was working at a company at the time when I was going through this rough patch, and my manager at the time said to me, you know, because I said to her, you know, I'm fine, I'll be back to work tomorrow. And she's like, no, take time off. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. She's like, take time off and deal with it.
Right.
And I, you know, was afraid of losing my job. I'm like, no. And she had mentioned the word PTSD to me at the time,
Yeah.
and I didn't understand it until later, and it hit me like a brick wall.
Really?
So what it is you deal with whatever you have to deal with at the time.
Yeah.
And your body instinctively kicks into survival mode.
Yeah.
So you just function,
Yeah.
and like my counselor at the time told me, it's like you put your emotions in a backpack.
Mm-hmm.
So any emotions that you should deal with go in the backpack, and you
they
don't
come
deal
up
with
later.
them. They come up later,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happened. What would happen is, I remember at one point I was living with my parents. This is how bad it was. I was living with my parents, and you know, I would leave to go to work every day at 6:30 in the morning, and I'd wake my dad up to walk me to the car, which was right there in the driveway.
Really?
Yes. I was
Wow.
like, please, can you just come with me, please?
Is that because you were scared?
Yes.
What were you scared of?
further attacks, that somebody might be around the corner, somebody's waiting for me.
All from this relationship, mostly, you think? Really?
That, and I'm sure like there was, again, right, I think it
The
started from the
stuff.
childhood,
Sure,
right? I think
sure.
it sort of all crept up
Yeah,
and
wow.
presented itself. And, you know, at any point in time, if somebody sort of would go behind me and like, you know, I would like jump. Like it wasn't just like, oh, you know, it was like, I would like, it would fly off the handle because my body just instinctively responded that way.
Right.
It just, your body just reacts in a way that you can't control.
Right.
So it was therapy was very interesting because you literally had to, what they wanted you to do was relive the situation utilizing your different senses.
Really?
Yes, and so that's how you get over it.
So how did you explain to me how that worked for you?
So, you know, so she would say to me, you know, go back to the night it happened. And she would say, okay,
We're talking
close your eyes.
Physical abuse.
Physical abuse, right?
Yeah.
So go back to the night it happened and, you know, close your eyes and listen to everything that was happening at the time. Walk through it step by step in your head and listen to everything. Listen. So I had to really use my listening sense. And then it was, you know, feel, you know, go back and feel everything. Look at, you know, feel this, feel that. What do you feel? What do you see, right? Then it was more the visual. What do you see? What do you see on his face? What do you see here? So you literally had to relive it and I'm telling you, if that...
through each sense.
If that in itself, like the whole reliving it was, it's like, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to relive it. And she said, no, you have to get
Why
it
though?
past.
Why
I think it's just putting closure. I think it's just sort of, you're trying to recognize what your triggers are. So you're reliving it, you're sort of closing your eyes and, you know, what do you see? I see you know, the chair broken or something and, you know, okay, well maybe that's a trigger. Like, so they're trying to figure out what those triggers are.
Okay.
What do you hear? I hear somebody screaming in the background, you know.
So that might be why you're jumping.
Yes, you know, so you get a grasp, you get an idea of what your triggers are, and then when you are aware of them, then you can control it.
Then you can say, oh, that's just a trigger that I have.
That's
from
a trigger.
Time.
Why is my heart racing? Like every so often now, I'll be like, my heart's racing. Why is my heart racing?
Right.
Deep breath. Why is my heart racing?
Right.
What am I worried about? You know, so it's checking in with yourself.
I see. That's interesting because I was trying to see when you're talking about that, I'm thinking, how is going back and reliving these experiences going to help you in the future? Move forward. I just, you know, it's one of those things where living in the past, right?
Yes.
But I get it, especially if you can catch yourself. It's all about catching yourself.
Being aware.
Yeah, exactly. Self-awareness is huge,
Yeah,
right? This is getting past anything.
Exactly.
If you know the triggers, then you can learn how to cope with them.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, a big driving factor of why we do what we do, and you know what Jen, you know, does in her professional life, what I do in my professional life. I mean, it sort of drives us to help people. I mean, even in my Monday to Friday job, I'm an HR professional, and so my whole thing is about helping people succeed. You know, so as much as I look at my past and say, oh, it shaped me to who I am today, and I'm a better HR professional because of it. I'm a better you know, image coach because of it. You know, I can relate with people. I can empathize with them when somebody comes to my office and says, you know, my marriage is breaking down.
You've been through it.
Sit down. I understand.
Right.
You know, so it gives you this empathy that perhaps others struggle with.
I agree, and I think that when you said that you were broken going into that first marriage,
I was.
But I think that everybody is broken.
You think so?
To some extent, I don't think anybody has the perfect life where there isn't an experience that really fucked them up, for lack of a better term. And whether they realize it or not, the fact that you realize it and you're working through it, and that you can sort of relate to other people and put yourself in their shoes, that's probably why that happened to you. I think that the whole idea and the whole reason we become these broken people is to explore that and to help others cope with what they're going through if it's relatable.
Exactly.
So on that note, I mean, I think we all have our baggage. I don't think anybody that says they're not broken is a liar, really, or just not self-aware and they don't realize it, you know, or maybe they're just suppressing it somewhere.
Well, they say everyone has a story, right? You know, I do believe that. I do believe everybody does have a story, and for the longest time, I didn't want to share it. I couldn't share it. I didn't want to.
What do you think was stopping you from doing that? Was it the general stigma of what people would think?
I think so. I mean, even Jen was speaking at Mo Mondays there a couple weeks ago, and we went to support her, and the host there was saying, you know, we're looking for speakers, and Jen's like, and I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to share my story. I don't know if I'm still, part of me is still ashamed. I mean, I think that people look at me now and go, you know, you were married for how long to a guy that did what? Like, many times people will say, I can't imagine that you were in that and you tolerate, like,
because you don't seem,
because it's embarrassing. So part of me is a little bit embarrassed to admit it, maybe.
But it's not who you are now?
No, it's not who I am now. And, you know, again, you marry for life. You know, you really, the one thing I did learn, though, is, and I remember saying this to him, and it broke him when I told him, was, love's not enough.
I think I've said that and heard that as well.
It's not enough. You know, as I was leaving there the last time, I remember looking at him and going, you know, I love you, but it's not enough. And he couldn't fathom that. He's like, what do you mean? Like, we can make this work. And I'm like, it's not enough. I wish it was enough, but it really isn't. What do you think was needed now that you look back? Do you really think it was love? What's that? Like this, did I love him? I did. So what do you think it was that you needed that wasn't enough? What was lacking? You know, if I were sort of a rewind, and I think I mentioned it earlier, I needed to set healthy boundaries. You know, at one point he said to me, well, if you told me, you know, that you would leave me if I did this, then I wouldn't have done it. And I'm like, okay, isn't that just common sense? Right, so I don't know, did I need to be more firm right at the beginning? Like, I can remember being, you know, 18 and we were in the car just talking, and I don't know, he lost his temper on something and he just punched that steering wheel. Right. And I just... So you had some anger issues. Oh yeah, so I was just like, I'm just standing there kind of going, and then it was quiet, and then, you know, 30 seconds later, he'd be like, got you, he's joking! And I'm like... Oh, really? Okay. Oh, that was a joke, okay. Until it wasn't. Right. So, you know, that went on for a number of years until I realized, no, actually, it's not a joke. So, I didn't set those healthy boundaries. I probably should have said, that's not a joke. That's not funny. That needs to stop now. Absolutely. And I didn't. You know, and I feel like if I was more secure, again, it's that insecurity, right? If I was more secure in myself and had the self-esteem, I could be strong enough to say, no, you can't talk to me like that. But again, this is the girl that thought she was never going to get married. Right. So the fact that an older guy was goo goo gaga over her was... Do you think the age might have played a role in that as well? The fact that he was a little bit older might have been a little more intimidating to step up to? No, I don't think so. I don't think age wasn't... No, I don't think so. I don't think that was a factor for me. I think it was just the boundaries. I didn't set boundaries, and I was determined to make it work. Right. I loved him so much. It was going to work. Right. It was going to work.
I wonder if part of it was that you were looking for someone to be your protector.
Yeah.
And then when you discovered, when it clicked in your head, he's not protecting me, he's hurting me. Yeah. It was like, okay, that's enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, could be. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots to think about. I mean, there's, love isn't enough. I really, you know, there's a lot more in making a relationship successful. Right. I was determined it was love, but it's not. It sounds like it was a bit, not just love, but toxic love in a sense. It was toxic. Again, on both sides. Sure. I don't want to paint him as this animal. Of course not. I had my fair share of issues as well, but you need a lot more than just love to make a relationship work, for sure. And it's funny because when I met my now husband, it's a funny story because, again, I was so hurt, right? Coming out of this marriage that I had worked with him in the past, but he was in a different location. So he was in Montreal and I was in our London office. So I knew of him, but we weren't dating or anything at the time. So finally, when we decided we were going to date, I said to him, you know, when he said, look, I think we should go out on a date. And I'm like, really? Why is that? You know, and he's like, because I want to go on a date. Why do you want to go on a date? That's what he was saying to you? I was saying to him. Oh, you were saying that to him. I'm giving the gears, right? Okay, I see. I'm like, if this is your idea of having a fling with an older woman, you're barking up the wrong tree. Like, I was just But
That's awesome.
Right? But
Yeah.
again, I was talking from a place of fear. I mean, he thought it was great. He thought to himself, wow, this woman knows what she wants, you know? So to me, if I'm going to be another, notch on your belt,
So at first you kind of were a little defensive about,
very.
Okay.
What are your
More
intentions?
than a little,
What are your intentions? Where do you want this to go?
Right.
And then as our relationship started progressing, I said to him, so here's where I see myself in 3 years. I see myself married and having a child. I said, not saying it has to be with you. I'm just saying, this is where I see myself. If you see yourself going that route, let's continue this relationship. But if that's not what you see it for yourself, let's just end it now. And
No hard feelings.
Yeah. And he was just like, okay, no, that's what I want.
Do you think you're trying to scare him away a little bit?
I don't know.
It's
funny you say that because the relationship progressed and he moved down to London from Montreal. So he left his friends and family and moved down to Montreal, moved into my house. And so I was so excited for him to move in. I was beyond the moon. I wanted him to move in, right?
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks, I'm telling you, were hell. Because it was deja vu. It was deja vu because he was excited to be, he was excited, he was happy, and it just brought back memories of my ex. My ex was the same way when we got together. And I was frozen.
Yes.
To the point, the poor guy, to the point where he actually sat me down and he said, do you want me to move out?
Really?
Oh yeah, it was
within
bad.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I just shut down. And if anyone knows me well enough, I'm very animated. I'm very lively, and I shut down. There was no conversation. There was nothing. And again, that's where I thought I had dealt with my past, but I didn't.
Right.
I didn't. And the fear of a relationship ending and going badly again just surfed it. Oh, it was bad, but we worked through it.
This is a very common theme, though, for a lot of people. I mean, marriages are splitting up probably more than ever before, and a lot of that stuff is going to come up in the next relationship, right? And a lot of people still have the same idea. I mean, I do too. I've never been married, but I'd like my marriage to be forever, but I'm not going to put that expectation on myself either, because that can be unhealthy to hold on to.
Oh yeah, exactly. You don't want to hold on to it for the wrong reason.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did you say you had 3 kids?
I do.
Okay, so did you have any kids with this first ex?
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
So 2
with my ex.
2 with your ex?
And 1 with my husband now.
So, how is their relationship? Like, how is the whole relationship and the dynamic there?
That's another very difficult topic.
Okay, if we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, obviously, you seem like a great mom.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to make sure that everybody's kind of doing okay.
No, everyone's okay. They live with their father.
Yeah.
They've chosen to live with him, and I respect that.
Yep.
And one day we will have a relationship.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait for that day.
I know.
I mean, it sounds like things are going, but the exciting thing is you've got this great little family that at first you shut down on, and now you're communicating to the point where I need somebody to pray with, not even of the same faith.
I know.
And that's what real love is, right? We keep putting you first and putting everything aside.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Very cool.
It's been a great experience for sure.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. So in this whole thing that you've gone through, this whole story, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that, and I definitely will stay away from the sex right now. But maybe next time you'll get a little more comfortable. We got to get you up to Mo Mondays, right?
I told you. I said to you, I have to go and face a bunch of men at work tomorrow, and I need to look them in the eye.
And I think that you'd be a great speaker at Mo Mondays. Maybe it's just sort of, I know that the story, your own story, eventually you say it the first couple times, and it starts to still bring up these emotions, right? The more people that you talk to about it, the more comfortable you become. It sort of flows out of you, and you're inspiring people without even knowing it. So maybe you just need to kind of share it a few more times and you'll get there. But I'd love to see you on Mo Mondays.
Okay, Mo Mondays is what? 60, 70 people? This is what, millions?
Potentially. But the thing that's great about this is it's a very intimate conversation setting.
Right.
You don't know who's watching, and hopefully the right woman that's in that
Yes.
relationship right now can relate to
Well,
you.
that's, yeah, exactly. That's
And
the point.
so if there is someone out there watching that can relate to something that you've been through, what are your words of advice to them? Or words of advice in general after everything you've learned in your little life so far?
You know, there's a lot of things that come to mind. One is, gosh, where do I even start?
Wherever you want.
I think setting those healthy boundaries, definitely setting those healthy boundaries, knowing sort of what you will and won't tolerate, realizing the example. One of the things that I thought about and why I left, one of the other reasons why I left was I wanted to make sure that my son knew how to treat a woman, and make sure that my daughter knew how a man should treat her. You know, I wanted to be that example, and I didn't want them to grow up and see what they had seen.
Right.
You know, there needed to an end there. So really, you know, a lot of people will say, you know, I'm staying with him because of the kids, but the kids feel it, they see it, they know it, and you're not doing the kids any favors. I think two happy people apart are better than two unhappy together.
Right.
So, you know, my words of advice is, you know, no woman deserves to be abused mentally, physically, emotionally, and
I agree.
you know, they also say who you're with is a reflection of your self-esteem.
I agree totally.
Right? So, you know, so there's a lot of deep inner soul searching that really needs to be done. If you are in an abusive relationship, what is that saying about you?
Yeah.
You know, why are you accepting that? Why is that enough for you? Why?
Yeah. And how does someone in that situation rebuild themselves? That's probably a tough thing too, right? I mean, how did you rebuild yourself after that?
That's a good question. There was a course that was offered that was called Rebuilding Relationships, and I couldn't even tell you how or where, but it was, you know, locally funded.
Yeah.
And it was every week you had to go, and you had to be single, like you could not be in a relationship. They really wanted you to do a lot of soul searching. And it dives deep into what worked in your last marriage, what didn't work.
Right.
And there was even some good soul searching stuff in terms of, you know, writing your ex a letter, and then they did like a bonfire and burned it all.
Right? Sure, because you got all the emotions out.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So there was some of that, and, you know, learning, you know, codependency relationships and, you know, different styles of relationships and what you had and what you want in a relationship, and, you know, sort of knowing for the next relationship what you could do. Because, like you said, you don't want to take the wrong of the last relationship into the new relationship.
Absolutely.
You don't want to do that. So you need to know what went wrong here and what part did you play.
Yeah.
So I think that to me was my biggest self-awareness was what did I do wrong so that I can't do it again. And to me it was setting those healthy boundaries and communicating. I know with myself when something's wrong with me, I shut down. And I can't. You know, my husband now knows too. Whenever Rita's quiet, there's something wrong. So he'll poke me from what's wrong. What's wrong? No, there's something wrong. Right? Because I'm not myself.
But you'll communicate when you really need it. Because last night you communicated when you really needed someone to pray with you.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's a huge step in itself, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've done a lot of work on yourself.
Yeah, and it's
awesome.
continuous. Like I find it's a continuous thing. I don't think
It's
you're
all
ever
through
done.
life. No, you're not. And the nice thing about it though is once you start, it becomes addictive. It becomes something that you want to do, and you realize, hey, I'm worth this. And that's a really nice feeling. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I think one of the things, the reason why Rita is so good in PinkInk is because she's taken her hurt and is helping others.
Right. Yeah.
So serving others.
Yeah, you're right. It's serving others and the gratitude, because, like we said, what we found is when we were doing makeup or talking with women, they started opening up to us. Right. So we would relate. It's that empathy would come out, going, you know, I understand. I can relate to you, and this bond would form, and these relationships would form, and all of a sudden, you know, we're doing more business with the people.
Right.
Because we're able to relate with them on more than just putting an eyeliner on.
Right. Yeah. You're women that have
connecting with the soul,
life experience, and can share that wisdom. Right.
Yes, exactly.
So, well, that's fantastic, and I love the fact that you and I think more people need to do this, because there's a lot of people that say, oh, it was my ex, or oh, it was this. You're taking your responsibility and working on, okay, what do I need to do to improve myself? You can't control anyone else.
No.
you can only work on yourself and make them adapt to the change within you, right? So I think this has been a great podcast this evening. Is there anything that you want to say about your business? Do we have any upcoming events, or how do we get in contact with PinkInk for the ladies out there?
We do have a website,
Okay.
PinkInkImage.com.
Okay.
So we do have the website. We have our Facebook page, PinkInk Image, right?
Okay.
We are now doing monthly. I'm doing a video called Rita's Raves. By the
Okay.
way.
Rita's Raves. I think I saw one of
Did
those.
you see one of those?
Yeah.
So basically, it's
I thought you were throwing a rave for a second. Where's the dancing?
I'm dancing, yeah. So that's been fun because I've been able to work with local entrepreneurs and test their products and then showcase them.
Very
So
cool.
I've been meeting some really wonderful people
Very cool.
that way and really promoting their business. And I think it just is propelling our business as well, which is
Good.
as people are reaching out. What else? What's going on? There's a bunch of things sort of in the infancy stage right now that
Nothing that we can really.
nothing that we can talk about. Right
it's
now, right?
top secret stuff.
Top secret stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what we can do then is at the bottom of this podcast, when we finish up here on the Facebook page, if you want to, you can either post links or send me links, and I'll post them in the comments so people can find you.
Yeah.
All right. And any women out there that are watching, is it okay if someone, you start to court with someone,
Absolutely.
for them to reach out to either of you to chat?
Absolutely. We're
Definitely.
always open
Awesome.
to that.
All about helping other people. So I think that's it. Anything else to add, ladies?
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Sure.
Anytime.
Yeah.
It's
All
been
right.
fun co-hosting with you.
Yeah, for sure. This is very a great story, and a story I always feel so badly because
Don't.
I know I'm sorry you went through so much, but
No, it's okay.
you're such a strong woman today, right? It's obviously that the benefit of it is positive. Yeah, it's obvious. So, thank you for being our Woman Crush this week.
You're welcome.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We'll post in the comments ways to get a hold of Rita and Jen. Great co-host over here. And you can also check out Jen's podcast previously on the YouTube channel or on iTunes. Look for Jennifer Slay. So I guess that's it for this evening. We'll see you guys Sunday with our Soul Fire Sunday. The topic is going to be eating healthy to help get rid of stress, anxiety, and depression. Okay, guys? So that's it for now, and we'll catch you Sunday.